Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel.
How's it going, everybody? We are here and we're actually gonna do a pretty quick video. I know I say that every time. So as we know, the USA versus Australia in Australia have been announced. The two games that are gonna be there. It's gonna be the 26th and the 30th, I think.
It's happening.
And it's officially, they're going to the land down under. They're gonna be there. You know, there has to be a team that goes to the So
That's generally what happens.
Generally, just announced the roster for the games. So we're gonna go over it pretty briefly because it is. I mean, they're saying it's welcome to the new era, the new next generation.
That's the wildest and the freshest.
Yeah, the passing of the torch,
seen, yeah.
However you want to say it. So there's a lot of new names, a lot of new faces, and we're just gonna go over and kind of just want to see what you guys think, if you're excited or if you're kind of bummed. You know, it could be one of two.
Right.
So what we're gonna first do, we're just gonna go through the roster and then we're gonna talk about it. So
we've got the goalkeepers: Bella Bixby, Jane Campbell, and Casey Murphy. Defenders: Alana Cook, Abby Dahlkemper, Tierney Davidson, Emily Fox, Sofia Huerta, Becky Sarbrun, Emily Sonnet. Midfielders: Lindsay Horan, Rose Lavelle, Katerina Macario, Christy Mewis, Ashley Sanchez, and Andy Sullivan. And you've got your forwards: Bethany Balser, Ashley Hatch, Margaret Purse, Midge Purse, Sophia Smith, Morgan Weaver, and Lynn Williams.
yeah, I mean, the forwards and maybe the goalkeepers are the most kind of mixed up, I think, in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
the new era. So, you know, the new era, the new faces, the next generation.
Babies.
We just read who is on the team, but I'm going to read some of the names we will not see for that game. We're not going to see Alex Morgan, Pinoe, Julie Ertz, Tobin, Alyssa Nair, Crystal Dunn, Sammy Mewis, Kelley Ohara, AD Franch. So we're not going to see any of those players. Those are kind of the big names that stick out that we're just not going to see. So we're going to go over maybe why we're not going to see them in a second. But first of all, what was your initial thought when you saw these players, Sarah?
First of all, I was shook. I was like, whoa, a lot of new people. And then I was like, you know, this is good. It's always exciting to see new, fresh faces. I mean, we know them from the NWSL and, you know, so, I mean, they're not new in that regard.
Yeah.
But definitely, I mean, some of these players they're going to get their first cap, or they haven't been capped yet. So I mean,
So you're
it's
excited.
always exciting. Yeah, I'm excited to see what these players can bring to the table.
Because a lot of these players are really being rewarded for playing well in the NWSL. You know, you play well in the that's what you think. You know, that's always what the hope is. You play well for your club team, it's rewarded by you going to the national team. That's usually the hope and the dream. I will say, I guess I'm bringing this up now just because it is kind of a hot topic. I was reading through the comments and some people read this one comment. This is terrible. I'm genuinely shocked. Australia must feel insulted. And then most people, I will say, are saying like youth movement. It's going to be a very competitive match. This is a very, very young, good squad. This is a very young squad. Most people are, I think, excited to see, you know, the younger squad. If we look at the ages of the forwards, I mean, Pinoe's 34, Tobin and Kristen are both 30s. You know, those are usually the steps. Alex Morgan's 30. So for people to, so most people I think are excited. I'm going through the comments, and most people are excited. The future of the U.S. women's national team is here. I see mostly positive comments, and that's kind of one that kind of sums up what I see. This is gonna be, but some people are like, this is gonna be so weird.
I mean, it is gonna be kind of weird, but
the way I look at it, or the way a lot of people look at it, how are these players gonna thrive on the international stage if they don't get time to play these games, you know?
Right.
Because from what we know, Sam's not going to be there because she's injured. Alyssa's not going to be there, she's injured. Julie Ertz is going to be there, she's injured. But other players like Alex and Pinoe, we're not quite sure if they opted out or if, you know, Vlatko just says, stay home. We need to introduce some of these new players. You know, we don't actually know about those players in particular.
Well, it's weird either way. It's weird if... I mean, not weird, but it's interesting if they did opt out. Why did they opt out? Or if Vlatko... But I can't see Vlatko just replacing, you know, the iconic players.
Yeah.
So my guess is they opted out, or, I mean, we're going to go over it maybe.
Because the way I think about it, too, I can't find the quote right now, but I read it earlier, that the only people specifically that he said opted out were Kristen and Crystal, and that Sam was injured. But that's the only comment I saw. I will say this. Vlatko said this.
Vlatko Andonovski indicates that Kelley Ohara might have been called in if not for family obligations after the NWSL playoffs, and Sam Ewis might have been called in if not for her injury.
So it's Kelley. Apparently her sister's getting married. I read that in the comment section. So maybe just her sister getting married makes her say, and play. And then I'm going to talk about the older players for one more second, or the more established players for a second. I think people are bummed because the way I look at it, you only get so many women's national team games a year. You only get so many.
Right. I mean, especially with COVID.
Exactly. So people are just kind of bummed. They're not going to see the people they've grown up, they love, they support, When is the changing of the guard, it is kind of hard, it is kind of or when it's like bringing up the new players, especially all at once, it's kind of a hard adjustment to be like, I like these new players, but I love the players I've loved for so long, It's
like everyone retired with Carly.
Yeah, I know.
And they're all stepping aside, and, there's just Becky and, a few of the vets, but it's wild.
Yeah, so it is kind of, it's different to see a lot of people. I mean, but if you think about it, the World Cup is in 2023, a year and a half. So, I mean, they really need to be thinking in terms for that. You know what I mean? That the best team they can put on the field for the World Cup. Because is Pinoe going to be around in 2023 to play another World Cup? Is, Becky? Is Tobin? Is Kristen?
Let's hope so,
We just don't know. Because sometimes you want to be around, but your body won't allow you. And especially just when you're older. That's just the way it goes when you're older. Okay. And Vlatko also said this.
All right, Vlatko on the forwards. The forward position is in an area where we felt like we need to increase the competition, and not just the competition. We need to increase the overall experience of the players, so we have to give them games like this.
Yeah. So they, a lot of those newer forwards that we're going to see they just need... Alex Morgan's been there, done that. He knows what Alex Morgan can do. He knows what she can do.
He knows what he's gonna get with them.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm guessing, this is just a personal guess, especially Alex and Pinoe, they probably it's Thanksgiving. Pinoe's engaged. Alex has a baby.
True. I forgot the holidays.
Yeah, I bet Alex. Who knows if Alex would have been allowed to bring her baby? If so I think that has a lot to do with it as well. But I do want to talk about something at the very end that's a little bit controversial, but it's a big topic that's going on. But I do want to touch on it. So two kind of notable players we didn't see on the list were Pugh and Trinity Rodman. So because Trinity Rodman's been playing so well in the NWSL, a lot of these newer players got call-ups, you would think, oh, she's going to get called up. Same with Pugh. She's been in the league, XYZ. Mm-hmm. Why weren't they called in? Is there something going on? Well, and then a couple people put two and two together, and they thought maybe this was the reason. So I'm going to have you read this.
Vlatko says Pugh and Trinity Rodman were part of the group called in against Australia, but they opted out for the U.S. Women's National Team camp.
Okay, so some players opted out, like Crystal Dunn, and, they opted out. But these two players, these are, getting a first call-up and then opting out seems a little weird.
Yeah, up-and-coming hot players.
And then Pugh, who just fought back her way to the national team.
Right.
But then we read that this can be the reason why.
So, Vlatko confirms that the Australian government mandates everyone in the U.S. traveling party to be fully vaccinated to enter the country. And he says everybody that travels to Australia will be fully vaccinated. And that is as close as he gets to the subject.
So I think a lot of people put two and two together and think that there's a good way that those two players are not vaccinated. And me and Sarah, our stance is pretty firm. We're 100% pro-vaccine. We think everyone who should get it. We are vaccinated. We think that's, the thing you can do if you can do it. But people in Sarah and I's family, very close to us, are unvaccinated. Not physically close to us, but in our family. But we still love them. We don't think they're bad people because they haven't been vaccinated.
We don't claim them.
Are we going to banish them from our lives? No, we just think they should be.
We are. No.
But so it's their personal preference. If this is true.
I'm just too scared of freaking COVID and dying to not be vaccinated. So, yeah.
Yeah. But some people are saying if they're not vaccinated, then, I mean, what about other international trips? What about the World Cup in 2023? Australia is one of the most strict about vaccines, about environmental causes, one of the most strict countries in the world about things like that. Will there be a vaccine mandate for the World Cup in 2023? So, we want a couple players who maybe to be on the team, but they're not vaccinated. Well, then they can't go. Or other international tournaments that might have a vaccine requirement, or for the countries. I mean, that's something to think about too. Also, the idea that you could be putting your other teammates more at risk.
Well, what I originally thought when I saw that there were so many new kids, called up to camp, I thought, oh, a lot of the vets, maybe it has to do with Australia, because I know they're really strict with lockdown and COVID and everything. So maybe they weren't going, they were opting out, or they weren't going because they weren't vaccinated, or whatever is the case. So you thought that? That's my initial thought.
And that could still be true.
Maybe there's strict quarantine rules that they have to follow, that they're just like, I don't want to do that, or whatever the case is.
As of right now, those quarantine actually have expired, I guess you'd say. So there isn't that strict quarantine anymore, which I thought there was, but there's not. So apparently they're going to come in and be like in a highly concentrated area. They're not going to go out, but there isn't that official government quarantine for Australia right now. But, I mean, it's something to think about. I mean, or psychologically, does this put this in the heads of U.S. Soccer or Vlatko? Who say you're not vaccinated. Oh, you're not putting the team first. You're putting your individual first. So we don't want you on the team either. You know what I mean? Those kind of questions.
Well, yeah, it's like you're almost risking like a career move.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I don't know. Everyone's different. So
the thing is, if they're for any player who maybe chooses not to be vaccinated, I mean, that's something that is just another component of a post-COVID world, so.
Yeah, you don't want to, what is it, Aaron Rodgers situation?
Yeah, that was not, what was the problem with him too? He lied, but it's definitely a component of this story. I think a little bit, because people noticed it. And what do you think? I mean, so what do you guys think of this roster? Are you guys pumped for it? Or are you guys kind of bummed you're not going to see your favorites? Like, because we know we're only going to see Megan or Pinoe so many more games.
I know. I'm a little bit of both. A little bummed, but excited to see the new player.
So are you guys bummed that you're not going to see Tobin, Pinoe? Or are you super excited for the changing of the guard? And because I will be honest, it's fun to see the players we already know and love, but watching the players on the national team, that's how you start to like new players even more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how you start to. And also, I will mention this. For goalkeepers, Jane Campbell is there. But the two other, Casey Murphy and Bella Bixby, they're uncapped completely. They've never played in a game or anything. So
Casey Murphy's been killing it this season. So.
And, that looks like a lot. Yeah, that could be the future. And, and apparently AD Franch's wife is having a baby. They're having a baby in December. So I think that could be a big part of why 80.
Maybe it'll be December 20th.
Maybe.
Andy Sullivan knows what's up.
That's it. Well,
we share a birthday.
And a very uncommon birthday, too. So
I know. What the heck? Jonah Hill. He gets it, too.
Questions, comments down below. I'm just really interested to see what you guys think about this roster. Excited, kind of bummed, or really pumped? Because I see both sides. I see a lot in the comments. I see a lot of people on opposite sides. Super pumped, and then some people are like, WTH.
Right. But you have to also think that the Megan Rapinoes of the world and everybody on the team was that player at one time or another.
Good point. 2 years down the road, you're going to be like, oh my God, they're my favorite player now. And
they're going to be like the best in the world. And you're going to be like, wow, remember when I was a hater?
Yeah.
Yup.
Questions, comments down below. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.